Thankfully, this will be a warming practice. All right. Well, let's just start in a comfortable seated position. Take a moment just to land. Oh, any stretches you want to take. It's going to help you feel integrated into the space, settled in. Anything. It just feels natural. Like not even think about it. Just like move a little bit. Oh, and let those movements just eventually bring you towards center. Head over heart, heart over pelvis, gaze straight ahead. Welcome, welcome, always welcome. No worries. Oh, and just beginning to land. And so, given that we're just coming off of one holiday, we're headed towards another. Let's start with just a few deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. Just like let it go. Whatever you've brought with you into this space, this is your time to like shake it off, let it go. Big deep breath in through the nose here, out through the mouth. One more time, in and out. And I just want to say for our newcomers, that mat is so short and I don't know why. And you're welcome to use that very short mat, or you're welcome to go get another one because it's comically small. I feel like the first of a toddler hears it one day and someone was just like, snip. Oh, beautiful. All right. So for those that are new to the space, my name is Keelan and I'm a Kripalu trained yoga teacher. And so what that really means is that the style of yoga I've been taught is that there's no right or wrong way to yoga. You don't have to look picture perfect. It is purely about you finding something that feels comfortable, right? Like your downward facing dog doesn't have to look like my downward facing dog. And I'll offer adaptations for you to try different things to see what feels best in your body today. And just because you've done something 1,000 times doesn't mean that today's the right day for it. And just because you've never done something before doesn't mean today's not the right day for it. So this really like mode of inquiry, this is just about getting to know yourself, right? And connecting to the self. So on those notes, anything you're doing that creates pain, discomfort, anything where you're not breathing anymore, we don't want that. We want the breath. So if you're finding yourself in one of those moments, take a moment to just pause and see what you could shift or change that would make the posture feel more comfortable in your body. And that you'll always have permission. Like you want to lie down in Shavasana in the middle of the practice, more power to you. Sometimes we just need to rest a little bit, and that's okay. And that this is an intermediate class, so we will build a little bit more heat here. But as I've just said, everything is up to you. Everything's an option. So from here, sitting up nice and tall. I like sitting on a prop, a block. If you don't have any, you might want some. There's some on the shelves over there. Because when you lift the hips above the knee, it can take pressure out of the knees. And also it helps to keep alignment tall through the crown of the head while you're in a seated posture. Take one more big deep breath in through the nose here. And then exhale, allow your eyes to soften or close, knowing that my eyes will remain open to maintain the safety and integrity of the space. Just bring your awareness to your breath. Feel the breath coming in through the nose, nice and cool, and coming back out of the nose, warm. Deep breaths in through the nose and out through the nose. And see how deep you can breathe into the lungs, breathing into every square inch of that space, feeling the chest expanding out on the inhale and contracting, coming back in on the exhale. And in the hustle and bustle of this time of year that we find ourselves, the hustle and bustle just of modern day living, what's asked for us. This is a space here now that we're going to commit to just being quiet for a few moments. And we'll invite moments of quiet into the practice. If any thoughts pop into your head now, it's okay. Allow them to float away. Come back to the breath. If having no thoughts isn't an option, then I would give you the offering of just saying breathe in as you breathe in, and breathe out as you breathe out. What is it to be in the stillness and quiet? Five more deep breaths here. Using the inhales to help you lift and lengthen tall through the crown. One last big breath in here, biggest breath yet today. And exhale, see how slowly you can release that breath. Slow it way down here. Letting that long exhale set your intention for your practice. We are here to move with intention and connection and find our way into the stillness of holding postures. When you're ready, allow the eyelids to flutter open, coming back to the space, to your body, to the room. And inhale, bring the arms out side to side, to the palms touch all the way overhead. Exhale, slow exhale, slide the hands down to heart center. Inhale, interlace the fingers here. And then exhale, press the palms away from the body. Inhale to lift the hands up towards the sky, straight up overhead. Palms are reaching towards the ceiling. And exhale, break free, come into cactus arms, 90-degree angles at the elbows. And then let them come all the way back down to the earth. We'll do that again. Inhale, lift those arms straight up to the sky, moving with your inhale. Exhale, bring it all the way back to heart center, tucking the chin into chest. Inhale, the head comes up, the fingers interlace. Exhale, press those hands straight out in front of you. Inhale to lift the hands straight up to the sky. Exhale to break free. Cactus arms finding that opening in the chest, and then slowly all the way back down to the earth. One more time here. Inhale to lift. Exhale, come down to the heart. That sense of home and belonging. Inhale, the chin comes back to center, fingers interlace. Exhale to press those palms away. Inhale to lift the hands up towards the ceiling. And exhale to break free. The next time the hands come all the way down to the mat, you can scooch any props you have out of the way here and bring the soles of the feet flat on the earth in front of you. Bring the hands to the back of the thighs here and inhale, rotate the shoulders back, open up the heart space, gaze lifts, curve to the back. Exhale, round the spine, tuck the chin into chest, belly button towards the spine. Inhale to open. Exhale to round. Letting your breath guide you here. There's no race, there's no final destination. There's just exploring these poses of an inhale to open and an exhale to round. And knowing this is a safe space for sighs, moans, groans. Your yoga practice is allowed to have a voice here. The next time you inhale, come all the way back through to center, crown of the head reaching up towards the ceiling, belly button tucked up and in here, abdomen active and engaged. Inhale, bring one arm out to the side, bring it all the way in front of the body, out to the opposite side, knees come to the earth and reach, turning back and behind. Inhale to come back through to center. Exhale to the other side. Continuing with this, once again, letting your breath guide you, really focusing on breathing deep into the lungs here. Hmm. The next time you exhale, whichever side you go to, allow yourself to come all the way to the ground. You're deepening that stretch. You could bring the forearms to the earth and keep the head lifted. You could bring a block under the head and rest the forehead on that. Or if you'd like to, you could come all the way down to the earth. Pausing here in the stillness for a moment, feeling what it is to come deeper into this posture. And how does that body experience that? Pausing here for one full breath cycle. Inhale brings you all the way back through to center. And then exhale to come on over to the other side. Once again, choosing how far you want to come down to the earth, what kind of supports you want. Just because you did something on one side doesn't necessarily mean it's in alignment for you on the other side. Pausing for one breath cycle here. And then inhale comes all the way back through to center. And then this time roll forward onto hands and knees. Knees stacked under hips, hands stacked under shoulders, and then tuck your belly button up and in here, creating a nice flat back, gaze on the earth in front of you, extending out tall to the crown of the head. And then inhale, drop the belly, slide the shoulders closer together, lift the gaze. Exhale, round the spine, tuck the chin into chest, belly button up and in. Few more times following your breath cycle. Inhale to open, extend out into the world. Exhale to round the spine, coming home to the heart. This delicate balance of giving and receiving. One more breath cycle. Inhale to come back to that nice flat back, gaze on the earth in front of you. And then bump the hips over to the left, look over the left shoulder at the hips, and hold here for a breath cycle, stretching out the right side body. Inhale to come back through to center. Exhale to the other side, bump the hips, looking over the shoulder. Pausing here. And then create a little rhythm here, going side to side now. Using that inhale to come to one side, the exhale to come to the other. Inhale to come all the way back through to center. Inhale, lift the right leg out to the side and just begin to make some circles with the hips here. They could be big or small. Working with the joints here, giving them your loving awareness and intention. Reverse going in the opposite direction. And then inhale, extend that leg straight out, back and behind, keeping it parallel to the hips, hip height. Always an option to drop that foot lower to the ground if you're feeling unstable. The goal here is to keep your center. Hips over knees, shoulders over hands. And then keeping the hips squared. So that right side, you don't want that right hip higher than the side with the left hip. Nice even line. And then if you want a little more heat, inhale, lift that left hand straight out in front of you. Again, you could always lower that hand, bring it closer to the ground if you want. Keeping those shoulders squared. So left and right shoulder even. One more big breath in. Exhale, float the hand down, and then float the right foot down, tuck the right toes under, and just rock back and forth on that leg. Keeping that strong connection to the breath in through the nose and out through the nose. Remembering everything here is an option. Bringing right knee back under right hip. Inhale, lift the left leg out to the side and begin to make some hip circles. Keeping that strong balance and connection to the earth. If you find that while you're on the hands, you're experiencing some sensitivity in the wrists, you could always make fists with the hands here and stack those under the shoulders. Reverse now, going in the opposite direction. Taking this time to honor your body. All right, inhale, extend that left leg straight out, back and behind. And breathing. You experience some shake, some heat. What would it be like to be here in stillness and sit with it? What would it be like to not judge it, but rather celebrate this body and all that it can do and all that it does for you? Option here to inhale, lift that right hand straight out in front of you. Breathing deep here. Remembering any thoughts that might come into the mind that aren't about the here and now can drift off and away. One more big breath in. Exhale, float that hand down. Slowly float that left foot down, tuck the toes, and rock back and forth. Big deep breaths in through the nose and out through the nose. Inhale, coming back to that tabletop position for just a moment, and then knees together, toes together. Melt the hips back and down, coming in to a child's pose. Always an option to bring the knees to the width edge of the mat with the toes touching to come into an extended child's pose. Melt the forehead down to the earth or to a block here. If you'd like to add in a little shoulder stretch, you could place blocks under the palms while you're in child's pose. Give yourself 4 moments of quiet, 4 breath cycles of quiet here. Inhale to slowly roll back up to that tabletop position for just a moment here. Making your way, letting the breath guide you. And then inhale, extend that right leg straight out, back and behind. Exhale, bend the knee, step the foot all the way up and through between the palms. From here, it could be nice to have the blocks with you towards the front of your mat. And so you can see with my hands on the earth, it rounds my shoulders a bit. But when I place the blocks underneath, I get a nice flat back. So when you have that flat back, there's integrity in the spine. It's preserving the body. From here, pull the right hip back, bring the left hip forward, front knee over front ankle. Gaze gently on the earth in front of you in a runner's lunge. From here, firmly plant that left hand down to the earth, and then inhale, open up the right hand to the sky. Breathing deep here. Holding this for 4 breaths. Options being you could always bend at the elbow, bring the hand to the hip, or you could bring that right hand to wrap it all the way back behind the body and tuck it into the left inner thigh to come into a bind. Whatever you choose here, make sure that your knee is over your ankle, keeping alignment in the body, preventing you from any injuries. Feeling those deep breaths grounding you here. One more big breath in, and then exhale, float your hand back down to the earth or the block. Connect to the belly here, and then inhale, lift the hands all the way up towards the sky. You can have a flat back, or you can use an exhale to lean back a bit here. Feeling that strong connection, once again, pulling the right hip back, left hip forward. Breathing deep. If this feels just not available to you in this moment, you can always float the hands back down to the earth. One more big breath in here. And exhale, float those hands as gracefully as you can all the way back down to the earth. Even if you were using blocks, we want to bring them to the earth now. Tuck the back toes under and bring the front foot back to the back foot, coming into a plank. Shoulders over hands, always, always an option to drop those knees, cross the ankles, coming into a modified plank, knowing that every pose is valuable. There's always something to learn in every posture, every adaptation. Pausing for a few more moments, being in the stillness and the quiet here. How does it feel in your body? What comes up? Inhale, big breath in, lift the left foot up, and exhale, bend that knee, step it all the way up and through between those hands, however that looks. Drop that back knee down. Back toes can be tucked under, or you can be on the top of that back foot. Checking in here, would it be beneficial to have those blocks? Maybe, maybe not. Each side is different. Breathing deep. Gaze soft on the earth in front of you. And then from here, inhale, firmly plant that right hand to the earth, and inhale, open up the left hand to the sky. Pausing here for 4 breaths, hearing and honoring whatever comes up in this body that is worthy of your love and respect. Gaze can be straight ahead or lifted towards the ceiling. One more big breath in here. And then exhale, float the hand all the way back down to the earth. Left hip comes back as right hip comes forward. And then inhale, fire up the muscles in your belly as you lift those hands up towards the sky. Always, always an option here to bring the hands down to heart center. Go back to the runner's lunge. It's just about your needs, about listening to them and honoring them. Two more breath cycles here. And one more big breath in. Exhale, slowly with control, float those hands all the way back down to the ground. Frame either side of that front foot. Tuck the back toes under. And that front foot comes back to meet the back foot. Tuck that belly button up and in here, really pressing into those palms, whether you're in a plank or a modified plank. Breathing deep here. And then inhale, lift the hips up and back, coming to a downward facing dog. Those heels may come down to the earth. They may be off the earth. Either way, begin to pedal your feet. So coming up onto the tippy toes of one foot, so the heel can come closer to the earth on the other foot, and then coming to the other side. Breathing deep here. Waking up the legs, connecting to them. Can try, as you go side to side, looking under the armpit of the side with the straight leg. Getting a bit of a twist here. It's also just kind of fun to see everything upside down. Unless you do it at home and then you see all the cobwebs. All right. A few more times on each side. And then use an exhale to come into some stillness. If you need to, bend the knees to get that nice flat back. Elbow creases radiating out in front of you. Neck in alignment with the arms. Pausing here to breathe and connect to your mind, your body, and your heart. Inhale, lift the right leg up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, bend that knee, step it all the way up and through between the hands. And then bring the back foot up to meet the front foot, coming into a forward fold. The hands may come all the way to the earth, or you may need to bend the knees to bring the hands to the earth. You could also use blocks to bring the earth to you. So yogi's choice here. Do what's going to feel best for you. And allow yourself to hang here for a moment. Feeling the backs of the legs opening up. If you experience any tightness, breathe into those areas. Use the inhale to bring your awareness, the exhale to soften. And then inhale, bend the knees, arms come out wide, side to side as you come all the way up to standing. Arms touch overhead as you exhale, come all the way to heart center. Pause here for a moment and breathe in through the nose, out through the nose, fully arriving in this space. And then inhale, arms lift up towards the sky, gaze follows, bend in the back. Exhale, dive all the way down to the toes. Inhale, halfway lift, nice flat back. Hands can come to knees or extend straight out, back and behind. Exhale to come back to the earth. Inhale, bend those knees, lift and rise all the way up to the sky. Exhale to slide the hands down to heart center. Again, inhale to lift, breathing deep, turning up the corner edges of the mouth in a smile. As you exhale, dive all the way down to the toes. Inhale, halfway lift of your choosing, nice flat back. Exhale to come back to the earth. Inhale, bend those knees, lift and rise. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Pausing here for a breath cycle in through the nose and out through the nose. Beautiful. Inhale, extend the hands straight up overhead, interlace the fingers and extend just the pointer finger. This is called steeple grip. So we're going to come into steeple grip and use that inhale to lift even taller here. And then exhale, the hands go to one side, the hips go to the other, coming into a deep side stretch, pausing and holding here in some stillness, breathing into the space that is created in the side body. Inhale brings you all the way back through to center, reaching tall. And exhale out and over to the side, breathing deep. Inhale brings you back through to center. Exhale, the hands slide down to the heart, the hips come back and down, coming into chair pose. So we're gonna hold here for 4 breaths. And I'd like to acknowledge the fact that this is chair pose, and this is chair pose, and everything in between is chair pose. So finding what you can hold and sustain here, knowing there are no expectations, just to listen to the body, honor what it's asking for in this moment, knowing you can change what you look like at any point in time. Deep breath in through the nose and out through the nose here. Always the connection to the breath, the very foundation of your practice. And then inhale, press into those feet, lift tall. And exhale, slide the hands down to heart center. All right. Coming tall into mountain, feet parallel to each other, hip width distance apart. So if you bring your fists together and you can tuck them right in between the arches of your feet, that is hip width distance. Boom. From there, tuck the pelvis slightly to help you extend tall through the crown of the head. Exhale, shoulders soften down the back body, hands come to either side. This is the foundational pose for all standing poses. Feeling the weight of your body evenly distributed between all 4 corners of the feet. Inhale, take all of that energy and put it into your right foot. Feel a night really pressing into that foot to help you lift tall. It keeps the hips from going out to the side. And then come up onto the tippy toes of the left foot. Now hands can come to the hips as you pivot that left foot out to the side and bring it to connect on the ankle, the shin, or you can assist it all the way up and into the inner thigh. Hands come to heart center. Can help to have a focal point on the wall in front of you. Knowing that to weeble and wobble is part of the human existence. It's kind of what we're here to do. It's all part of the journey. So if you fall out, you can always come back in, try again, and breathe. Even if you're wobbling on the outside, can you find that stillness on the inside? Really pressing into that foot, extending tall through the crown. One more big breath in here, and exhale, soften everything down towards the earth and sort of wiggle the legs out. And same thing, other side. So beginning in mountain, finding that sense of a strong foundation. And then taking all of that energy into the left foot now. Feeling the full weight of your body extending out to all four corners. And when I say that, I literally mean the left and the right side of the foot, the front and the back of the foot. From there, pivoting that other leg out to the side and deciding where you want that foot to be, acknowledging that it may be something different on the other side of the body. And that's okay. Everything isn't always even Steven all the time. And if you are wearing socks, it will be harder to maintain balance in these poses, which I say while wearing socks. So just deep breaths to ground and guide you in your practice. Inhale, another big breath in through the nose. Exhale to soften and release the pose. Once again, shaking out. All right. And next, we're going to come into a standing figure 4, and I'm just going to give the variation first. So the first option is you bring one leg in front of the other leg. The edges, the outer edges of the feet are like snug and cuddling with each other here. And then an inhale to extend tall through the crown. And then on an exhale, you begin to hinge forward from the hips. Forward fold here. This is great for the psoas and the sciatica. The psoas being a muscle group, the sciatica being a nerve. So if you feel that stretch around your hips, down the leg, that's the spot right there. Right, inhale to come up tall to the crown. And then we do same thing other side. So other leg in front this time. Corner edges of the feet nice and snug. First, using that inhale to lift and lengthen tall through the crown. And then that exhale to forward fold, hinging from the hips. You may even be able to bring those hands all the way down to the earth or to a block. And then inhale to slowly come up. So as we move into this next posture, if that's not your jam, then come back to this one that I just did. And for the sake of balancing, I am going to take my socks off. Ooh, much better. Okay. So this time we're going to come back into that mountain pose, nice and tall. Feeling that sense of grounding, knowing that that inner sense of grounding is always with you. Everywhere you go, everything you do, you can come back to this sensation in this posture. And then inhale, bring all the weight into the right foot now. Inhale, lift that left foot, cross it across the thigh. Hands come to heart center. Big breath in through the nose as you exhale. Hips come back, hinging forward at the hips. That left foot is nice and active here. Really seeing if you can get those hips back and behind as you come forward. So working with and stretching the same muscles here, but deeper. Always an option to hold onto a chair or the wall. Probably not the person next to you that's also wobbling. 2 more breath cycles here. Remembering we can always come out of the posture and back in. That is the beauty of life. We get the opportunity to try again and again and again. One last breath into the nose and exhale, begin to rise up, stepping right back into mountain. Pausing here, breathing here. All right, when you're ready, shifting the weight to the opposite foot now, the left foot, picking up that right foot and bringing it across the left upper thigh. Inhale, hands to heart center. And exhale, begin to hinge from the hips, bending that knee, keeping that right foot nice and active as though it's pressed against a wall. Gaze flat on the earth in front of you, trying to find one point that's your focal point to stare at. Breathing deep. And taking note, is it easier to balance on this side or the other? It's just good to know. Doesn't mean there's anything wrong with the other side. It just means that there is room to grow. 2 more breath cycles here. Big deep breath in through the nose and exhale to rise, coming right back to mountain. Bring a hand to the belly, a hand to the heart. Allow the eyes to soften or close. And check in with yourself. Are you allowing yourself the opportunity to be in the stillness, in the quiet, in these poses? When other thoughts come in, because they will, are you able to send them on their way? And if they keep coming back, know it's a practice, something you can work on. I don't know of anyone who on the first time got it 100%. I don't know anyone who's been a practitioner for years who gets it 100%. We're all on a journey. One more big breath in through the nose and out through the nose. And then allowing the eyes to flutter back open, standing tall at the top of your mat, allowing the hands to come to either side as you inhale, rise towards the ceiling. Exhale, dive down towards the toe, hinging forward from the hips here. Firmly plant those hands to the earth by bending the knees. Take a big step back with the right leg and then bring the left foot back to meet the right, coming into one last plank for the day. Option here to just rock back and forth a little bit on the toes, letting there be some playfulness, inquiry to your practice. If you lost that smile from before, then perhaps bring it back now, turning up the corner edges of the mouth. And then dropping the knees down towards the earth, crossing the ankles here, bringing the shoulders over the hands as you slowly lower yourself down towards the ground. If being on the belly isn't available to you, you can come back into extended child's pose. Feet come down to the earth, tops of the feet on the earth, forehead, mouth, or chin on the mat. And inhale, press into the pelvis, the legs, the tops of the feet, and lift up into a baby cobra. Exhale, lower down to the ground. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. Keep those elbows tucked into the side body. Again, inhale to lift, seeing each time if it feels right to come up a little bit higher. Exhale to come back down to the earth. And then inhale, come up to pause and hold here. Option to really press into those thighs and come into upward facing dog. Coming into upward facing dog, paying attention to any pinching, numbness, or tingling. Really pressing into the tops of those feet here, shoulders over hands, hands pressing into the earth, ears up and lifted away from the shoulders. Exhale, slowly lower yourself down to the ground. This time, push all the way up and back to a child's pose of your choosing. If you have blocks, I highly encourage placing them under the hands and welcoming in that stretch in the shoulders here. And allowing yourself once again that moment of calm, quiet, solitude to be with yourself. Inhale, slowly roll back up to a seated position here. Knees together, toes together. Use your next inhale to lift you up tall through the crown of the head here. Gaze straight in front of you. Shoulders soften down the back body with belly button tucked up and in to the spine. Inhale, lift your hands right in front of you at shoulder height. Exhale, rotate the palms out, float the hands back and behind, interlacing the fingers here, but put the opposite thumb on top that you normally would. And then pull the hands back and down as you lift the gaze towards the ceiling. Taking a big deep breath in through the nose here. Exhale, begin to hinge forward from the hips, melting the torso over the thighs. If you need more room for your belly here, you can widen the knees to be the width edge of the mat and bring your forehead to the earth or to a block. Inhale, lift those hands up, back, and behind you as far as they can go. And breathe. Being with this body and loving acceptance of it. One more deep breath cycle here. In through the nose and out through the nose. And then inhale, extend out tall through the crown, and then lift the head back up to that upright position. Once you're all the way back up to seated, release the hands and let them float to the thighs. Pause here for a breath cycle in through the nose. And nice and slow, ever so slow, back out through the nose. Beautiful. Come on to the sides of the hips. Extend your feet right out in front of you and make sure you're in the middle of the mat here. Feet nice and active. And then inhale, extend your arms straight out in front of you. And exhale, micro movements. So slowly begin to lower yourself down towards the earth. See how long you can make this journey last. Invite the shake until you're all the way down on the ground. From here, bend the knees, bring the soles of the feet flat on the earth, and then reach down with your fingertips. Make sure you can just touch your heels with your middle fingers here, okay? From here, then place the palms flat on the earth, either side of the body, and then inhale, press into the feet, into the shoulders, into the head, the arms, the hands, and lift the hips up towards the sky. Exhale, slowly lower them down towards the earth. If you'd like to add some more movement here, you can inhale, lift the hips, lift the arms all the way up overhead, and then back and behind the body. And then exhale, lift them back up overhead and then down towards the earth as you lower your hips down to the ground. So yogi's choice here. Ask yourself, what's going to nourish your soul? What gesture is in alignment with your body's needs right now? This body that is worth being listened to, worth being honored and celebrated in this time that you carve out to be here on the mat. Few more breaths here. Mm. Last one. This time, when the hips are lifted, hold them. If you've been doing the arms overhead, bring them back to either side of the body where they started while the hips stay lifted. Option to roll one shoulder under the back body and then another. Bring the hands together, interlace the fingers, and now pressing into the fists, the arms, the shoulders, the feet. Keeping that slight curvature to the back of the neck here. If you find that you're predominantly using your glutes here to sustain this pose, then try really pressing into the feet, using bone on bone to support the posture rather than overtaxing the muscles. And then pausing here for 2 more breaths in silence. One more big breath into the nose. And then exhale. If those fingers have come together, release them and unroll the shoulders. And then begin to slowly, slowly bring those hips back down towards the ground. Those micro movements. Beautiful. Press into the feet to slightly lift the hips up off the earth. Place your hands under the hips. And then lift the feet up towards the ceiling. Keep those feet up, keeping them nice and flat as if they're pressed against the ceiling. Abdomen active and engaged. The hands do not need to be under the hips here. They could be out on either side. It's just more difficult without the hands under the hips. Another option would be to have a block under the hips. That will make it easy peasy lemon squeezy. So yogi's choice here. What would you prefer? Holding this for 2 more breath cycles. Big deep breath in through the nose and then exhale. Slowly bend the knees. Hug them in towards the chest. They might come all the way to the chest. They might be somewhere out here, but wherever it is, just give yourself a little hug, a little love, a little squeeze. You did it. You made it through. Gently rock side to side here, massaging the muscles of the back, relishing in these last few deep breaths of the practice, making the most of it. From here, you can take any final movements that would feel good to you, be it a yoga pose or otherwise. If there's anything else that the body is asking for, this is your time. You have 1 minute to let your body lead you. And it could lead you to stillness, lead you to movement, whatever it is, it's perfect and divine. And then whatever you're doing, let it lead you towards our final resting pose, Shavasana. Legs extended straight out, feet comfortably resting side to side, arms extended out at either side in a V shape, palms up. If this isn't comfortable for you, Do whatever you need to make it comfortable. You could bend at the knees and bring the feet to be the width edge of the mat. Allow the knees to fall in towards each other. This can help with discomfort in the low back by bringing the back to be flush with the earth. Could be placing a prop under the knees or feet. Take the time to get ultra cozy here, acknowledging that the more comfortable you are, the more relaxed you are, the more you can receive from your Shavasana with the wisdom of the pause and integration. Allow the eyes to soften or close, and allow yourself to follow the breath into your stillness and into your silence. You can begin to wiggle the fingers and toes here. And gently roll onto one side of the body in the fetal position, knees bent, using the lower arm as a pillow for the head, easing that transition from the earth to seated, and pausing here for a breath cycle into the nose, nice and deep, nice and slow back out through the nose. When you're ready, gently moving and making your way towards a comfortable seated position. Once again, finding that alignment of head over heart, heart over center. And from here, using an inhale to bring the hands up to heart center and closing our practice with an Om. If you've never Om'd before, it's wonderful for the body. Stimulates the vagus nerve, which gets you into that state of rest and relaxation. You're welcome to listen or join in. Big breath in here. Oh. My wish for you on this day and every day that follows: peace of body, peace of heart, and peace of mind. Namaste. Thank you all for joining. I'll be here for a few minutes after, so questions, comments, concerns, let me know. And thank you for joining. Stop recording.